Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Today's Zoom number 14. Virginia, can you share the slide? Beautiful circle of logo. I don't know. I don't know where Virginia went to. All right, so we're gonna start. So today is April. It's already April 10th, 2021. Room number 14. Our guest is Raizelah Bayen from California. She is in the beautiful state of California. And we are in a different locations. Our heart is together. Our project is One Heart and One Planet. And last year we started in April 11, 2020 because of coronavirus was hitting everywhere and we didn't know what to do. We are so scared. The thing my Buddhist teacher said, we need to deal with invisible enemy with individual things. You don't see, but you don't know. You cannot sense, you cannot touch, but it's there. So she told me Shiatsu is one of the things. It's the energy. We need to spread the message of healing energy to the world and to make a difference. So we've been doing this every Saturday, and we are so grateful to all the presenters, Ambria, John, Sylvia, Domenico, Tom, Virginia, so many teachers came and we trained them. They are now comfortable using the computer and sharing their knowledge with their students and keep spreading the wonderful message. So today I'm so happy to introduce Raizelah in our Shiatsu community. Let's chant and meditate, put our hands and mind together, and let's start. Namu Shinyo Ichinyo To Toki Miho Tokeo Nenji Tate Matsuru Zamgi Zamge Rokkon Zaisho Metsujo Bon no Metsujo Gon Sho Om Saraba Tatagata Anamana no Keromi. And let's reflect ourselves. Did we make any changes since last year, this year? Are we more balanced? Are we happier? So this Eastern philosophy will give a hint, positive light to our daily living. So today's share is Raizelah. Please, Raizelah, take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And actually, before I do that, let me, hold on a minute. I just lost myself.
Okay. So Raizelah was a manager at the spa and she helped so many people. She trained so many people how to take care of themselves. Now she's been teaching through online and she's sharing her knowledge. Actually, I met her through Facebook and I asked her if she can come join our Shiatsu team and if she can do any presentations. So she was so kind enough to say yes. So I'm so grateful.
And I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks for your patience while I pulled up my slideshow. And thank you, Kumiko, for your introduction. I'm really excited to be here. Just to give you a little bit of background, a little more background of myself before I jump into the slideshow. I also, like everybody, went through a big shift at the beginning of COVID a year ago. And I had been teaching massage for over 20 years, several different settings. I was teaching at a massage school, I was training in spas, and I set out to start my own massage school. And of course, with COVID hitting, I never got to open the doors for in-person learning. However, I have revised my curriculum and been teaching online. And part of what I did when I revised my curriculum to teach online was I shifted a little more towards the energetics of essential oils and herbs and presenting that to massage therapists and shiatsu practitioners to integrate into their practice, because I felt like that was a little bit more amenable to teaching on Zoom, a little harder to teach the hands-on stuff on Zoom. So I've had a lot of fun this last year developing classes and teaching. I'm the owner and founder of Open Pathways Massage School. And just to tell you a little bit about what my mission is, I really feel like massage therapists, shiatsu practitioners, within their scope of practice, can be much more than muscular therapists, working with energy, integrating in these various modalities such as essential oils and herbs, acupressure, theory from Chinese medicine. We can really be holistic health practitioners and integrative health practitioners, and not only heal ourselves and our clients, but this, as Kumiko has already alluded to, is the foundation for healing the planet. One person at a time, one heart at a time. But knowing that all our hearts are connected, so when we influence one, we influence everyone. In my massage school, there are 3 pillars. You can sort of visualize 3 legs of a stool, and these 3 pillars that underlie all of my courses and all of my programs are explicated in these 3 circles. This first circle is the circle of Chinese medicine. The second circle here is embodied presence, and the third, self-care. So these are what I consider the 3 pillars of integrative healthcare. In my classes, we dive into Meridian theory and massage, 5 elements theory and massage, and the energetics of oil, food, and herb. That's the Chinese medicine piece. I really emphasize in everything that we do embodied presence, because if you're not inhabiting your body, how can you support your clients inhabit their body? We need to really sink in. And I talk a lot about the integrative intake process, so that we're listening to our clients, not just with our ears, but we're listening with our eyes, with our hands, when we touch, with our whole being, so we can take in what's happening not only physically, but energetically, emotionally, and work in a very integrative way with our clients. Self-care has to be the foundation. We're not taking care of ourselves. How can we take care of others? So that includes embodiment practices, sensing ourselves, mindfulness, and doing acupressure on ourselves so that we can feel the benefits of the work. We can feel how the work affects us, and that will inform what we do with our clients. So in speaking about that, I really want to pause the slideshow for just a minute and take this time first to settle into ourselves, do a practice that will help embody our presence, feel our bodies. So I'm going to invite everybody to stand up for just a couple minutes before we go into the rest of the slideshow. And take a good morning stretch and raise the arms overhead. And on an exhale, bring them down in prayer position in front of the heart. And as your hands come down in front of the heart, just take a moment to feel your feet on the ground, really pressing into the earth through the soles of the feet. And then inhale, again, spread your wings and bring your arms up and reach up to the heavens at the same time that you're pressing down into the earth, grounding yourself, opening up to the heavens. So spread your wings, open your arms wide. And as your arms come down, bring them back so that you're really stretching across the front of the chest. And then inhale, bring the hands together back in front of the heart, connecting with the energy of the heart. Now interlace your hands and push away. Drop your shoulders from your ears and really press out through the right hand and then the left and the right and the left. Now I'm bringing you through some stretches for the arms and hands that we work so hard as body workers. Inhale and bring the arms overhead. So you're pressing the palms, your hands are still interlaced and you're pressing the palms up, but you're still firmly connecting with the earth, really inhabiting the space between heaven and earth, a balanced vehicle of the yin and the yang. And then turn the palms down and lower them behind your head and press the elbows back behind you. Keep your tailbone tucked to protect your low back. There you go. And then inhale, turn the palms up, the arms come up again. And then spread your wings. And this time, as your wings come down, fold forward, hinge at the hips, and come into a forward fold. And when you arrive in your forward fold, let your head grow heavy. Let your shoulders and neck be soft. You can nod your head yes and no. And then bend your knees and inhale. Lift your head and your heart. Spread your wings and bring the energy back up overhead, and exhale the hands back down to the heart. Good. And then just take a minute to feel yourself here. Feel your feet on the ground. And on an in-breath, visualize the earthly chi coming up through the soles of the feet, moving up along the inner legs, the yin lines on the inner legs to the dantian or the hara right here in the lower belly. And then on your next in-breath, visualize the heavenly chi coming down through the crown. This comes down the yang aspects of the body, the back and outside of the body. And again, collecting in the lower belly, the dantian, also called the hara. So bring your hands to the lower belly and inhale, visualize the earthly chi coming up through the soles of the feet and the heavenly chi coming down through the crown, and both combining and mingling together in this lower belly, the dantian. And then on your next in-breath, again, visualize the heavenly chi coming down, the earthly chi coming up, combining in the dantian. And then on the exhale, visualize a stream of energy coming up from the hara, through the heart, through the arms, through the hands. And right now your hands are on your own lower belly, so you're replenishing your own sea of energy. And do that a couple more times. Inhaling, visualizing the earthly chi coming up and the heavenly chi coming down. Exhaling from the belly, through the heart, through the arms and the hands. Replenishing your own reservoir of energy. And one more time, really letting yourself be a vehicle of these two universal life forces, the yin and the yang, bringing the heavenly and the earthly chi into your body, and then up from the belly, through the heart, through the arms, and through the hands. Good. And then slowly open your eyes. Let's come back to our seats and just know that when we're working, we're using these hands. And you can always come back to this visualization, visualizing yourself as a vehicle, channeling it, so to speak, by visualizing the heavenly and the earthly chi coming in and then moving out through the heart, from the arms through the hands as you're touching your clients. So that will really energize your work. I encourage you to, anytime you're feeling like, disconnected in some way from yourself, and then of course from your client, disconnected from your energy or the energy source, the infinite source, bring this visualization back to mind and it will energize your work. So I'm going to share my screen again and resume the slideshow. We're going to jump into the energetics of essential oils. I'm going to first talk a little bit about the science of aromatherapy, how it is that aromatherapy can impact our body and mind so deeply. When we inhale, and if you have any essential oils nearby, I encourage you to bring them over because it's really nice as we're working or exploring these oils to just let yourself take an inhalation now of any oil that you enjoy. I have blue tansy here in front of me. And what happens when we inhale an aroma is it enters and provides communication directly to the brain and the nervous system, particularly the limbic system. So the olfactory nerve has no synapses. And because there are no synapses, this communication is very direct with the limbic system. So when I'm talking about the limbic system, I'm talking about this area of the brain here that's illustrated. My cursor is pointing to it right now. And it includes the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, and the hippocampus. But we're most interested right now in the amygdala and the hippocampus because these two parts of the brain work together to regulate emotions, especially the very old emotions, the evolutionary emotions that have to do with fear, fight or flight, love, community, connection, how we connect with people, how we survive. These two organs also help interpret the emotional content of memories. So what do I mean by the emotional content of memories that are connected with smell? I have an example. When my grandmother used to come visit me when I was a little girl, she would love to make homemade applesauce. And I could, every time I smell the smell of apples cooking, boiling down, being made into applesauce, I think of my grandmother. So that is and the warmth of my grandmother coming to visit. So that's what I mean by the emotional content of memories. The structures and interacting areas of the limbic system are involved in motivation, emotion, learning, memory. Because the essential oils communicate so directly with the limbic system, that is what enables us to work on the mental emotional level with our clients using essential oils. Mental emotional level from the Chinese perspective, we're talking about working on the level of the Shen, often translated as spirit, but it really has to do with the mental emotional level. So I'm going to hop right into essential oils. If you're not familiar or don't work with essential oils, this is some fundamental information to start with. There are 6 primary fragrant categories: pungent, lemony, which are our 2 top notes; sweet fragrances and green fragrances, which are our middle notes; and we have woody and rooty oils, which are our base notes. And each of these oils, just like any other plant, medicine, herbs, will affect the energy in the body in a different way. If you've taken Chinese herbs, if you've studied Chinese herbs, you know that the way that the Chinese work, the Chinese approach to working with the herbs, is looking at their energetics. And this is how I work with essential oils. My teachers were acupuncturists and really specifically looked at how the oils affected the energy in the body. So when we work with pungent oils include eucalyptus, rosemary, sorrel, Raizelah, they bring the energy up in the body. So move your hands as I do, because then you'll learn it in your body. Pungent oils lift the energy, they raise the yang, they bring the energy up in the body to the organs of the upper body, and that would include the lungs and the brain. Okay, so the pungent oils lift the energy. The lemony oils bring the energy up and out. So it's kind of like the rays of a sun, up and out. Lemony oils are very sunshiny, and this up and out kind of disperses the chi in the body. So one of the ways I use a lemony oil is, as we all know, so many people have forward heads from looking at computers, stuck energy in the neck. And I might use a lemony oil on an acupressure point in the neck, such as bladder 10, to disperse that energy so the neck can move more freely. Now we move into the middle notes. The sweet oils regulate the chi, right? What we're working with as shiatsu practitioners, as acupressure practitioners, is that free and easy flow of chi through the body, that rhythmic regulation of flow. This is what the sweet oils help with. And the green oils also help by moving the chi. Okay, so they move the chi where it's stuck, where you have stagnant energy due to either excess or deficiency. There can be stagnant energy either. Then green helps to move that energy. And what do we see as body workers? When we move stuck energy in the body or stagnant chi, we clear tension and emotions. Getting into the base notes, the woody oils draw the energy down and in. So down and in really centers the chi. The woody oils center the chi. They bring it very internal, right into our center. That helps to ground and center. That also helps to strengthen and stabilize someone. If their chi is deficient in some way, the woody oils help to strengthen and stabilize the chi by centering it. And lastly, we have the rooty oils that bring the energy down. So straight down in the body, really rooting us, grounding us, connecting us with the earth. These are the rooty oils. So we would use the rooty oils if we have stuck energy up in the head, right? So if we have a headache, we would use a rooty oil on an acupressure point in the foot, such as gallbladder 40 or 41, to help bring the energy down, the stuck energy out of the head to clear the headache. And then on the flip side, if you have stuck energy in the lower body, let's say you have calf cramps, then you would use a pungent oil to lift the energy, to bring that stuck energy up. Okay, those are some ways we can work with the oils. I'm going to go into each of the fragrance categories and just talk about them in a little bit more specificity, and also give an example of how I would use it. So the pungent oils, as I mentioned, raise the energy. And in that sense, they're really tonifying. They tonify the yang in particular. They help to energize and awaken because they bring energy to the upper body. They bring energy to the brain. So they help with mental alertness, mental concentration, mental focus. They also bring a lot of energy to the lungs. The lungs, as you might know, as a shiatsu practitioner, you might know the lungs are responsible for our wei qi, our protective qi. So we would use Raizelah, for example, which is a strong antiviral pungent oil, on points like lung 7, lung 10, if we're getting sick with a cold or a flu, because it helps to strengthen the wei qi as well as bring energy to the lungs. You could also use a pungent oil, any actually, rosemary, sorrel, Raizelah, I put on large intestine 4 and large intestine 11 at the end of the elbow crease if I feel myself getting sick, to help ward off, to help build the wei qi and ward off the pathogen. Another example of how I would use the pungent oils is if, and this is actually a real life example. I had a client come not long ago who was celebrating the anniversary of her mother's death. I use the word celebrate kind of hesitantly. I don't know what the right word is, but she was deep in sorrow and really feeling the grief of having lost her mother. And maybe you know, lung one right here is an important part for important point for processing grief and allowing and letting go. Sorrow essential oil, like lung one, is also, it's one of the pungent oils that's really specific for processing grief. So I used sorrow on lung one on this client. And then I recommend that she continue to use it on herself at home as she moved through her grief process. And this will just, this using the oil on the point activates the point and supports the process of, in this case, letting go. Now the lemony oils, I always smile when I think of lemony oils because, like I said, they're like sunshine. They bring the energy up and out. Sometimes I put mandarin right here on CD17 in the center of the sternum to bring sunshine into the heart and open the heart in a way. So the lemony oils disperse the chi. They bring the energy up and out, but they also, on the Shen level, help to clarify and focus the energy. So like the pungents, they help to clarify our mental capacity. They bring clarity, focus, concentration mentally. They're very good. I use lemony oils when there's really like a pinpoint of stuck energy. And I often feel that I mentioned a few minutes ago that if someone has a forward neck, I'll put lemongrass right here on bladder 10 to kind of disperse the chi in the neck so that the neck can move a little bit more freely and maybe come back into alignment. But also, like I said, if there's blockage in the heart, I might put mandarin right here on CD17. And, you know, talking about how to use the oils on the points, and I feel like I want to back up and just talk a little bit about the technique, because many of you are Shiatsu practitioners and you work very actively along the meridians, stimulating the points with your hands, with your palms, your thumbs, and maybe your fists. And Shiatsu can include deep pressure. But when we're working with the oils on the points, it's really a shift in how we work with the points, because instead of stimulating the points with our hands by massaging or pressing deeply into the point, we're allowing the oils to stimulate the point. So our hand can be quiet, our hand can be still. When I hold an oil on the point, let's say I'm holding rosemary on large intestine 11 here, my touch is very gentle. My touch is light. The purpose of the finger on the point is just to hold the oil on the point. It's not to actually stimulate the point, because the oil is stimulating the point for my finger. So when I use oils on points, it's more of a quiet meditative approach, more stillness. It's more yin than the activity of Shiatsu. So if I were integrating it into a Shiatsu session, I often use Shiatsu. I also use Toi Na in my practice. I do the more active aspect of the massage first, especially on the back body, the yang aspect. Then when I turn the client over, I'll choose a sequence of oils and points that address their particular complaint, condition, whatever they've come to me for. And then when they're face up and I'm working on the yin surface, I use this more yin style of quietly holding oils on points. Usually each point oil combination I hold for about 1 to 3 minutes until I feel the energy shift. Okay, so getting back to the fragrance categories. Green oils, as I mentioned, move the energy, right? So where there's stuck energy, it moves that energy. They're really good green oils for tense conditions. So they work really well in a massage setting, massage or shiatsu, any kind of massage modality, because that's what people are coming to us so often for. Oh, I have shoulder neck tension. Oh, I have low back tension. And so on and so forth. I'm sure you hear this in your practice. So I often, if I'm going to make a massage oil blend, I often will include a green oil to address muscular tension. But like any of the oils, they can also be used on acupressure points. If you put marjoram is one of my favorite green oils for muscle tension. And if you put marjoram, I'll try to show you here on gallbladder 34, that's the outside of my leg, just under the head of the fibula. As you might know, this point is really good for relaxing muscles, tendons, and ligaments. And when you use marjoram and herbaceous green on this point, you're matching the energetic of the oil to the point, and it helps relax the muscles and tendons. Another middle tone are the sweet oils, right? The sweet oils regulate the chi. They keep the chi circulating. So if there's stuckness, it helps to move the chi, but in this cyclic regulating fashion, which is how the chi moves through the body. As you know, it moves through these loops of energy. The whole meridian system is one giant loop of energy. I'm sure you already know that from studying shiatsu. And then within that big loop of energy, there's 3 loops that go from the chest to the fingers, and then from the fingers to the face, from the face down to the toes, and then from the toes back up to the chest. So the sweet oils help to regulate. The sweet oils include rose, palmarosa, ylang ylang, sweet, rosy, floral oils. And how they affect us on the Shen level, the emotional level, the sweet oils are nurturing, very emotionally nurturing, very emotionally supportive. I really look to the sweet oils when someone is going through a hard time and they need healing. So then I might use a sweet oil right here on CD17, like rose or palmarosa, when their heart just needs that nurturing touch. And the woody oils, as I said, bring the energy down and in. So I think of the woody oils, I think of a tree. A tree, it has this strong trunk that centers it, even when there's big winds blowing and the branches are back and forth in the wind. The trunk keeps the tree stable and centered. And the woody oils help to do the same thing. So I often end a session by centering, grounding and centering the chi, and I'll use a woody oil like Atlas cedarwood. Atlas cedarwood is a wonderful woody oil. Sandalwood is another one. And Atlas cedarwood I often will use. I'm going to bring my foot up here on kidney 3, which is halfway between the inner ankle bone and Achilles tendon, to ground the energy. And I'll do that, I often save that for the end of a session so that when someone gets up off the massage table or off the shiatsu mat, they feel grounded. As you know, when we're moving chi through the body, it's really important at the end of a session to ground the energy and center it. Rooty oils are specific for grounding. Woody oils ground and center, and rooty oils that draw the energy straight down are most effective for grounding the energy. So if someone is feeling spaced out, scattered, spacey, and having trouble focusing, sometimes they need grounding. A rooty oil. My first go-to rooty oil is vetiver. I also use vetiver if there's energy stuck up in the head, like in the case of headaches. I think I mentioned vetiver on gallbladder 40 or 41 is really effective. Sometimes I'll even use vetiver at the base of the governing vessel, conception vessel, you know, those low points right down here in the lower belly, such as CV4, CV3, connecting us with our root chakra. And another wonderful rooty oil is Dongquai. Oh, I know. Excuse me, I just wanted to mention, talking about the rooty oils, bring the energy down, it's important to remember that heat makes energy rise, right? Heat rises. So the rooty oils are very good also in heat conditions. When I went through menopause and I was having hot flashes, one of the oils I used that helped take care of it for me was vetiver. I also used lemongrass. The lemony oils are also very cooling. Lemongrass and vetiver were my best friends when I went through menopause. So this is a little introduction to how I work, how I teach, and I did want to take a few minutes to let you know I'm launching a 7-month program. The Monday night class is starting on April 19th. The Tuesday morning class is starting on May 4th. You have the choice between either one. Class meets once a week, but this program that I'm launching is called Integrating Chinese Medicine into Massage Therapy. It's a 68-hour program. We meet for 2.5 hours each week, and it's a very comprehensive program. We first dive into learning meridians, which you're probably very familiar with if you're a Shiatsu practitioner, but we get very point specific on the meridians, and we learn the source points and the low points and the entry points and the exit points and the alarm points along the meridians, the command points. So you know the potent points along the meridians, how to find them and what their function is. That's how we spend the first unit of this program. The second unit of the program, we dive into the 5 elements, learning how these elements in nature exist not only in nature, but in us, because we're part of nature, we're connected to nature, and our doorway to balancing the elements is through the meridian system. There's 2 meridians associated with each of the elements, except the fire element has 4 meridians. And when we dive into the elements, we also dive into using Aroma Acupressure, which I've been talking about, learning specific oils and points and oil and point combinations and sequences that balance each of the meridians and that balance each of the 5 elements. And then in the last 20 hours of the course, I've developed this specifically for body workers, massage therapists, shiatsu practitioners, this unit called Balancing the Nervous System, because this is what people associate with getting massage or shiatsu, that they're going to relax their nervous system. But when you look at the nervous system from the Chinese perspective, a tense nervous system manifests as constrained qi. A weak nervous system manifests as deficient qi. And where you have constrained qi, maybe you have shoulder neck tension, maybe you have headaches, insomnia, digestive tension. And where you have deficient qi, you might see fatigue, weak immunity, poor concentration, scanty periods. So we learn aroma acupressure sequences for each of these manifestations of constraint and deficiency. And we also look at herbs that help to balance the nervous system. I bring a little bit of herbal information in also in the 5 Elements course so that you have different tools that you can recommend to your clients to use at home to really support what you're doing with them in the treatment room. So again, just to kind of summarize what's available in this program, learning meridian pathways, including potent points, how to find them and what their functions are, understanding the 5 elements, not only from the physical, but emotional and spiritual perspective, learning to use acupressure points, aromatherapy, aroma acupressure, and herbs to balance the meridians and elements, and really ground your work in embodied presence and work from this integrative place. We spend time learning an integrative intake, which will be a 5 elements intake. And we spend time in every class, just as we started today's workshop, in grounding in our own bodies and our own self-care. I'm a nationally certified CEU provider, and this program offers 68 CEUs. So here are some links. I host my school on Teachable, openpathways.teachable.com. If the program sounds like something you're interested in, but you want a chance to talk to me and find out a little more about it, you can schedule what I call a clarity call with me. My website is openpathwaysmassage.com/clarity call. And that links you to my calendar and schedule a time to talk to me just to get clear about what your goals are and how Open Pathways and my programs do or don't help support you in meeting those goals. Maybe it's a fit, maybe not, but if it's a fit, I want to be able to share with you what programs could support you, and so that you know if this is right for you. It's a big commitment. The whole program is 7 months, and so I want you to feel like this is the right choice for you. I put and then one other thing I just wanted to mention, I do throw in some bonuses for doing the whole program. And I meant to change that to 7%. I changed it here. This should be 7%. So the program consists of 3 classes. It's the Meridians class, the 5 Elements class, and Balancing the Nervous System. And if you were to take the 3 classes individually, rather than bundled together in this program, it actually costs $243 more. You get a savings of $243 for enrolling in the whole program. Of course, you can take the classes individually if that's what you prefer, or if that's more appropriate for you. But I did just want to point out that I discounted 7%. And I throw in for the program a free bonus class. It's a 3-hour workshop here called Staying Healthy with Chinese Medicine that talks about aroma acupressure and herbs for cold and flu season. And the third bonus is a 30-minute health consultation with me, a 5 elements assessment with an herbal formulation. So here are all of the links to my Teachable site, the link for a clarity call, the link to my store on my website, but I am going to post it all right now. It's in the chat box. So if you look at your chat box, if you open up the chat box, you'll see to contact me or to join my mailing list, you can just go to the Contact Us page on my website, and then you'll be kept informed of all the courses that I launch, all the programs and when they launch. For course descriptions, you can go to the online CEU course page on my website. You could go to my Teachable site, openpathways.teachable.com. There's a specific page on my Teachable site where you could enroll in the program if that interests you, or the last link I put here is to schedule a clarity call with me. No pressure, just, hey, what's right for you. So I would like to open up the floor for questions about essential oils, anything that I presented, about my programs, whatever is up for you. I'm happy to, I have a little bit of time here. I'm happy to answer questions. You can either put your question in the chat box or you can raise your hand like Kumiko is doing. Go ahead, Kumiko.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So how can you help my clients has constipation?
How would I work with constipation?
Yes.
I would go to large intestine 4 and I would use an oil. So large intestine 4, as you know, helps draw the energy down and out. And I would use an oil that matches that. I would probably put vetiver, drawing the energy down on that point. And you could.
How about headache?
Headache.
Peppermint.
Same thing. You want to draw the energy down if it's stuck up in the head. And then I would put vetiver on gallbladder 40 or 41.
I have a question.
Yeah, I would like to answer your question. There's also a question in the chat box. So I'm going to answer the question in the chat box and then come to you. Okay, Eva?
Okay.
Someone asked if I recommend a brand of essential oils. So I use snow lotus oils, and this is what they, I don't know if you can see what it looks like or if the light is too bright. It's too bright. If you go to my website, if you go to openpathwaysmassage.com/store, and I'm pointing to that with my cursor right now in the chat box, I have snow lotus oils for sale. They are organic oils. They are artisan distilled. They are very pure, high quality oils. I know the owner of Snow Lotus. He actually was one of my Aroma Acupoint teachers. He actually travels to the farms and makes sure that that the weeds are selected out of the harvest and the processing is done in these distilleries that distill the oil slowly so they're more concentrated. I feel really good about the oils. They happen to be, Snow Lotus is local to me. I know you guys are all over the world, but I feel good about using those oils. You're welcome to purchase oils on my site or any other oils.
So Raizelah, is there any discount for participants today?
Yes, on my website, I discount the oils 10% for my students. So the prices there are 10% less than the suggested retail, and you all have just become my students. So you go to my site, you get 10% off. Okay, Eva, you had a question, and then there's another question in the chat box. Go ahead.
So, do you use multiple oils at one session?
I will do a sequence of oils, sometimes 5 or 6 oil point combinations that address a single need, complaint, or issue. And in my program, when we explore the 5 elements and the manifestations of nervous system imbalances, we learn these specific sequences to address specific complaints. So I really recommend to students that are just learning the energetics of oils and how to use them on points to use the sequences that I teach. They're like formulas for shoulder neck tension, or a formula to balance the earth element, or a formula for digestive weakness, a formula of oil point combinations. And then once, as a practitioner, you've used those formulas, those prescribed or those sequences for a while, and you start to really get familiar with the energetics of the oils and how they interact with the points, then you can start to get a little creative and explore oil and point combinations on your own. There's another question here. Thank you for your presentation. I find that some of us have allergies to lemony oils. What do you do with that? Okay, so I don't know if it's an allergy, that you're talking about, but what I do know about lemony oils, and when I say lemony oils, I mean oils that have the word lemon in their title. So that's lemon oil, lemon eucalyptus, lemon myrtle, lemongrass. All of those oils have a constituent called citral, which can be a skin irritant. So maybe that's what you're thinking is an allergy. So when I use a lemon oil, I always dilute it 50% with an unscented organic massage cream or massage oil. I dilute the lemon oils. That's, I'll just go over a few safety points. You always want to dilute a lemon oil. You always want to dilute a spicy pungent. So a spicy pungent would be ginger, black pepper, nutmeg, the really hot oils. And another oil you want to be really aware of that's commonly used is bergamot, which is a photosensitizing oil. That means if you put it on your skin and go out in the sun, it will discolor your skin. So I never use bergamot in a massage oil blend. Never. You just don't rub it all over the body. I do use it often on a point here in the ear called shenmen. And if you have hair like mine, it covers the ear, so you don't have to worry about going out in the sun. But if you have a client with really short hair or no hair, then you might want to say to them, are you going to be going for a hike or working in your garden after the session? And if so, you would just take a tissue and rub the bergamot. Just rub it off before they go out. Thank you, Katerina. I'm glad that was interesting. Does anybody else have questions? I can't just flash between the two screens to see if anybody else has their physical hand raised. There's also the hand raising function in Zoom or chat.
No, not yet.
Okay, no other questions. Well, as I said, you're always welcome to reach out to me. If questions come up afterward, feel free to contact me on the contact page of my website, which is up at the beginning of these links that I posted in the chat box, openpathwaysmassage.com/contact. You can email me if you have any questions that come up after the workshop or any other questions about my offerings. Here's another question. Oh, just more questions came in the chat box. Do you use them neat on the points or in a carrier? Okay, good question. When you're using 1 drop of essential oil, which is all you need on an acupressure point, it's safe to use it undiluted unless it's a lemon or spicy pungent like I just went over. Of course, if you're blending a massage oil and you're rubbing it all over the body and using several drops, you want a carrier. But 1 drop is safe, undiluted, unless it's lemony or spicy pungent. Can non-shiatsu therapists also participate in the course? Yes, it's for any kind of body work or massage therapist. I use rosemary to help my son in studying. Is that okay? Of course, rosemary helps with mental focus and concentration. It's very good to put rosemary right here on 100 meeting point, governing vessel 20, to bring the energy up into the brain for focus.
So Raizelah, could you show us how to use the oil?
Yeah. Okay, I'll show you rosemary on governing vessel 20. Hold on, let me find my rosemary here. So all you need is 1 drop on your finger, and then place the finger on the point lightly, again, lightly, because it's the oil stimulating the point, not your finger. Your finger is just there to hold the oil on the point, and you hold it for 1 to 3 minutes or until you feel the energy shift. So the way I feel the energy shift most commonly is I start to feel a pulsing under my finger. Another way, sometimes I feel the energy come up and sort of push my finger out of the point. Sometimes I see my client take a deep breath or sigh or relax. one of my teachers, Tiffany Carroll, she feels the energy shift, her body moves. That's how she feels the energy shift. You all have been practicing Shiatsu, I presume, many of you, and so you probably have observed other ways the energy shift, the body relaxes. But right now, I've been holding this, well, as I speak, and I'm starting to feel this gentle pulsing under my finger. And then I would take my finger off the point and I would go on to my next oil point combination. Like I said, I usually use a sequence. And because this is on the governing vessel, there's only one point. But if you're holding a point on the meridian, like large intestine 11 or any meridian, it's on both sides of the body. So when I'm working on my client, I work bilaterally. I hold both sides. Here's more questions. What carrier oil do you recommend? Okay, let me get my carrier. I thought my carrier was right here in my closet, but it's not. So I most often use Sacred Earth organic unscented massage cream. And then what I do is I put a dab of cream in my finger and 1 drop of oil in my finger. And it's diluted 50-50, and then I put that on the point. I used to eat 1 drop with honey. Is that okay? Eating essential oils. Okay, I do not use, personally, I do not use oils internally. I'm not trained, so I can't actually speak to that. I'm trained to use, I'm trained by acupuncturists to use oils on acupressure points. I'm trained as a teacher in Aroma Acupoint Therapy. I personally have not been trained in the internal use of oils. I really think that anybody that does use oils internally should know what they're doing, and because I haven't had training in that, I can't speak to it. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome. When making an essential oil blend, should it include a top, middle, and bottom note? That is a very good question. I don't always think that way when I make a blend. I usually ask my client, what fragrance category do they feel most drawn to? Do they really like the sweet florals? Do they really like the citruses? Do they really like the earthies? Because I want the oil to be attractive to them. So I will choose one oil from their favorite fragrance category. That's the first thing that I do. And then, because I'm a body worker and I'm working on releasing, one of the things I'm doing is working on releasing tension from the body, then I will also always choose a green oil, because that helps move chi where there's stagnation. Really, the green oils are best for releasing muscular tension. So I'll take a favorite oil, a green oil, and then I usually ask them what they're needing more on the Shen level. Do you feel like you want something a little more nurturing? I might choose a sweet floral. Do you want something a little more grounding? I might choose a rooty. Do you want something a little more centering? I might choose a woody. And I just put that out there, and so I'm taking information from them. I ask and I see what they say, and you kind of can't go wrong. Any other questions? I think I answered all of them in the chat box. Oh, here's one more. Thanks a lot. What kind of essential oil would you use on Heart 7 or Pericardium 6 or 8 to help calming the Shen? Palmarosa, for example, a receiver with insomnia and anxiety. Okay, Palmarosa is more I use to soften the heart and allow trust. I use Palmarosa on, you can use it on the source point of the pericardium meridian or pericardium 6. But if someone's having insomnia, I might use mandarin on pericardium 6 to calm the Shen. And mandarin is a sweet, it's a sweet lemony. I think of it as a little bit sweeter than lemonier, but it's both. This is my mandarin I'm smelling right now. It's very sweet. So the sweet oils help to regulate. If I was treating insomnia, mandarin on pericardium 6 would be 1 point. I would put lavender on kidney 6. And if they have really active mind, to quiet the mind, I would put lavender right here on yin tong, and also right here on bladder, I think it's 3, right at the hairline. So bladder 3 and yin tong. Lavender there helps to quiet the mind, to calm the shen. Mandarin on CV6. I didn't mean to say CV6, I meant to say pericardium 6. And then kidney 6 here under the ankle bone. The name of that point is joyful sleep. So I would definitely include that point. You could use lavender on that point. You could also use a rooty oil, just to bring the energy, calm the energy down. Any other questions? You guys had such good questions. Love working with Shiatsu practitioners. Wonderful. You're welcome. All right. Well, such a pleasure to meet you all. I hope that some of you hop on my mailing list by going to the contact page on my website. I hope that I see some of you in other classes. I do teach free workshops other times in other places. So if you're on my mailing list, you'll find out about my free workshops as well as my courses and programs on Teachable. So it's worth hopping on the mailing list. I usually do free workshops at least every quarter. Great. I think, unless there's anything else, you're welcome, Mark. Thank you for all the thank yous. I think I'm going to turn it back over to Kumiko and Eva. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Raizelah. That was great information. I love the movement of each oil. That was wonderful.
Good, good. You're very welcome.
So everybody's okay? Do you have any questions? Yeah, good. Don't you want to try it? Yes, good. Yeah. This is just tiny little bit of oil and hold, and it makes big difference. So try it. Yeah, and then let us know how you feel after you try the different oils. And there's so much information she has on the website. If you cannot find her, you can go to our website and find her. So because we are all connected.
Yes, Raizelah, I have one question, because I saw your website and I read your bio. Yeah. And it seems like this year it's your 30th anniversary since your first certificate in massage.
30 years. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I'm doing massage for 30 years.
Yes.
And I've been teaching actually for 20 years.
And that you study so many things, and your integrative health knowledge is so
deep and incredible.
So incredible, yes.
Why do you passion about it? Could you please share your feeling about integrative?
Is that what you were gonna ask, Eva? Is what Kumi asked?
Yes.
What kind of fuels my passion?
Yes.
Gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I do love my work. There's no question about it. There's this sense that I was really, when you find your true work, you kind of feel like, yes, this is what I was put on the planet to do. And that everybody's here to serve some purpose. We all are here to help in some way. And this is the gift. I feel grateful that was given to me, the gift of teaching that I was given in this lifetime. And it's where I feel most at home. It's where I go, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And my whole body kind of lights up and my heart opens when I work with students. So this is my true work, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that to have found it. Not everybody finds their true work in one lifetime.
Also, could you tell us your meditation experience?
So yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about this, Kumiko. I also have a practice in Zen Buddhism. You can see my little Buddha on my altar there with my essential oils. And that for me has really helped ground me in my work as a body worker and as a teacher. It's really like my anchor, my foundation, my anchor in my body. It's my foundation, my connection with something bigger. And I see some more comments in the chat now.
Yeah, there's a question about how long can you keep an oil?
So it's best if they're kept in a dark, cool place, and then for a very long time, years and years and years. I don't know that it ever. I mean, so I keep mine. So I have this little travel kit, right? I can open it up. I can bring it to my office. It has lots of oils in there. I have more oils in my closet, and I keep the closet door closed, and I keep the room, I don't keep the room real warm. I wouldn't store them in my massage room where I'm always running the space heater for the client, because I would take them out overnight. Of course, I bring them in while I'm working. But if you store them in a cool, dark place, they'll last years and years and years and years. Julie said she felt the same way when she found Shiatsu, like you found your real work. Awesome.
Raizelah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing. I really love essential oils too, and I work with them a lot too for myself, for my own healing. And I also know Tiffany Carroll, so that's just
Yeah, have you taken classes with Tiffany too?
Wonderful way to heal, isn't it, with oils? Just kind of suddenly forgot about that.
Yeah.
So thanks so much.
One of my teachers, she also taught my teacher training. Yeah, she's wonderful. You're welcome. Any other last comments or questions? I'm going to go to the gallery view so I can see everybody.
Wonderful. Everybody's smiling and happy. Yeah, good.
I so appreciate that you all came today, because how could I teach without students? Can we use oils for children? Yes, you can use oils for children. No problem. They're not so good at laying still. So you might, holding the point for 1 to 3 minutes if they're young children, they get antsy. What I used to do with my kids when they were really little is I would read them a story while I did that to just keep them still.
Sorry, and with newborns, since how many months in a newborn?
Say that again, Gemini, I didn't understand.
Newborn babies, small babies, newborn.
Oh, would you use oils in newborn?
I know if one does that, you have to do it with base oil, but from how many months being born?
That's a good question. I have not personally worked with infants. My intuition would say dilute it. I leave it
Yes,
to Buddha.
of course. Yeah.
And use very gentle oils like sweet orange is a great oil for children, you know, or yeah, I would start with a strong dilution and see how they respond.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I thought, don't you use the diffuser to make a room aroma?
Yeah, so a diffuser with infants would be nice also. Yeah, that's a very gentle approach. Good idea, Kumiko. Good idea.
I wish we could smell all your essential oils that you
I
showed.
know. Well, you know, when you take classes with me, you know, if you sign up for my classes, one of the requirements is that you do need to buy a set of oils. You don't have to buy this many oils, but we do so that everybody can pull out their oils and smell them and use them. And because that's really how you learn, is by doing.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It was such relaxing, even to listen about the scents, even without smelling them. It was very nice and relaxing presentation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, Raizelah. So everybody's okay? Are you enjoy? Are you feel happy? Yeah, good. Don't you want to move? Don't you want to move around? Yeah?
You gonna lead us in some movement, Kumiko?
Yes. So let's put the both hands together and gasho and meditate. Let's put our hands and mind together. And thank you to everybody. Thank you to our ancestors. Thank you, our speakers, students, friends, and the family, and everybody. Breathe in. And slowly breathe out. And have a great week and be safe and be healthy. And see you next Saturday. We have a tea master coming.
I was looking for Virginia because Virginia always dances. And her dance is so inspiring and contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everybody.